Hello there, and welcome to our seasonal pronunciation practice. Today, to get ready for Halloween, I thought it might be fun to do The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. If you've never read this poem, some of the words can be difficult. And not only in pronunciation, but they are just older words that you might not have studied before. So this poem is a good way to do some vocabulary practice, some vocabulary work. You can make a list of words that you don't know. And look them up just for fun. Um, Also, there are a lot of words that are repeated. There's a lot of repetition. So that's a really good way to practice these sounds that are trouble over and over again. There are also opportunities here to practice with onomatopoeia, like rapping, tapping, the sound of tick, 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 tick. Edgar Allan Poe was really wonderful at using words to make you feel emotionally what he wants you to feel. And in The Raven, um, he wants you to start feeling lonely to the point where you start to question your own sanity. Oh, I love it. Happy Halloween. So let's get started. So if you're going to do this on your own, the first thing you want to do is give it a once over and find where you might have trouble. So depending on the language you're coming from, you can start at sound level. Do you speak Spanish and maybe V's are difficult for you, or SH and CH, are those difficult for you? If you are a speaker of an Indian language, are the T's difficult, TH difficult, or is it very far back in your mouth? If you speak Arabic, your P's and B's and your vowels like I and E and E, are those distinct enough? So go through your inventory. Again, if you don't know what your problems are with your sounds, you can go to my website for English on Fire and sign up and send me a sample of your speaking, and I will tell you exactly what your problems are and what you can do to fix those. So, shall we begin? Let me mark my punctuation, and that will help me with my breaths. All right, looking through. Oh my, okay, it's a long poem. It's gonna take some time. I see here we have g, 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 g. Oh, alliteration. You gotta love it. Down here, this to this, lots of practice with the. B, burned, bosom, more alliteration. Very good for buzz, b practice. More g. She shall. Sh practice. Let's see. Swung by seraphim. Oh, beautiful. Oh, this word hath. If you haven't seen this before, old form of has. Let's see. Lent thee, meaning you. Let's look further. Gilead. Wow. Some words that you might never seen before. Nice Plutonian shore. Google image this stuff. It can come up. It'll be helpful. All right, we've got demons, dreaming. Wow, more D and alliteration. Lamplight. Oh man, and this word nevermore, 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 nevermore. As you can see, the last line of every stanza, quoth the raven nevermore. All right. Beautiful. All right, so we have a once over, just kind of taking a look. Again, so I said go through sounds and see if anything looks interesting. I mentioned punctuation, so I thought I might do that with you with a highlighter right now. So let's find our punctuation. How about we make it in red? We've got Once Upon a Midnight. We've got, oh, it didn't do it right on the mark, right on the money. There we go. We've got our commas. Remember, a comma is going to mean that you want some kind of a pause. You don't need to breathe, but this is an area where you can take time and put your thoughts together so that your listener can understand you better when you begin. It's in music, we call this phrasing. All right, let's see. Bum, bum, bum. I've got commas. Now, if I were to do this whole thing, this might take a while, but I'm just going to put these here. And actually, what I want to do is where I want to actually take a breath. These are going to be periods and these long lines here. I'm actually going to do those in a different color. I should have done those in red because that would mean stop, but maybe I'll just do it in a bigger black for Halloween, of course. Stop, stop, oh, stop, and stop. Perfect. And if you're not familiar with reading a lot in English, these things here are quotation marks. So that will be what someone is saying. So we need to make sure that we create pauses as if we are quoting someone from "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. All right. Here I'm going to pause at a semicolon, at a period, a long line, semicolon, long line. So here we'll have a bit more breathiness. And wherever there's emphasis put in the poem, like here, nameless here forevermore. Okay. So I think you get the idea. We want to pause for commas, breathe if you have to. Take a breath at the lines and at your periods, or the hyphens as we call them, and the periods. And really take some time for emphasis at the words that are in italics or even in quotations so that your listener can really understand. Remember, the whole point of practicing pronunciation is to be understood by the person you're speaking to. All right. So now when we do this, if I were to do the whole thing and pause and whole thing and pause, it would take all day. So I welcome you to go back and listen to the video as many times as you can. Record yourself. Speak it into Google Docs and see if your pronunciation is clear. Look up words that you don't know. Listen for pronunciation there in English, American English and British English for fun. This is a great opportunity to have some fun with English. So let's have some fun. Let's actually start speaking now. We did the sounds. We did a little bit of the phrasing. And now to do the performance. Here we go. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, Suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. A good thing to practice in this stanza is this little bit of phrasing where you pause at the commas. Being very careful of these ends, like while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping. Also the gently rapping at my chamber door. Bum, 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 bum. Please pay attention to the rhythm. If you've watched any of my other videos or taken any of my courses, you now understand that the rhythm is the most important part of English in being understood. All right, so next stanza, and maybe in this one, instead of focusing on just phrasing, I'll also focus on finding the stress in each phrase. So, distinctly I remember it. Remember, it was in the bleak December. I'm marking the stress with the highlighter here. And each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. So I put highlights on all of the stressed syllables, like the real stressed syllables that you're going to aim your energy towards. Of course, every word has at least a stressed syllable, but we're looking at sentence length, sentence level stress. And remember that I love working with poetry because it helps guide you to the natural rhythm of English. Of course, this is just exaggerated, but it has this da 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 da. Of course, there's variation, but you can almost tap it out. And it should, if you practice like this and practice other poems that have rhythm installed, your brain should start turning over and recognizing the natural rhythm of English. So let's do this stanza together, especially for those of you who have difficulty with English R and who doesn't. Rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Practicing these rhotic, like the ruh, like I call them the motorcycle R's, and the released R's at the end, Lenore. At the end of a sentence, you don't want to go Lenore. We want Lenore, nameless here forevermore. It's just a little bit of a mouth closure. So let's read it, just this stanza. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore.